While on vacation with his aunt, this man decides to go for a swim, but this only leads to an encounter with an entitled parent, who causes a metaphorical big splash. This woman is waiting in line at the grocery store when someone behind her decides they should get to go first. But it's the reason she gives that just doesn't make a lot of sense, considering what she knows about our hero. This person is just minding their own business when an EP takes an unusual interest in their truck, making all sorts of claims about a beloved family member. Thankfully, someone is there to step in and take charge of the situation. How will our hero survive? You'll only find out by watching this episode of VoiceyHere's Entitled Parents. This story was called EM Gets Security Because I Am Not Swimming with a Shirt On. Note, this was about 2 months ago. Keep that in mind. Right now I am on a trip, but after this happened to me, I felt the need to post it as I found it very entertaining. I am at a hotel in Chicago with my aunt on a trip. The hotel is really cool, with an indoor pool, and I decided that I was going to go down on my own and swim in it. I have my own key card, and with that I can access it myself. So I grabbed a towel, put my swimsuit on, and rolled out. When I got to the pool, there was not one family or person there, and I had the pool all to myself. I put my towel, phone, and card down, and took off my shirt. I'm a guy, I can take my shirt off. I hopped in and started swimming laps. I then was tired and decided to just do cannonballs. Then EM and IK, aka Innocent Kid, note IK seemed like she didn't care for the entire situation, walks through the door and I hear EM gasp and look up to see her.
Why do you have your shirt off?
I'm swimming. Is there a problem I should know?
Yes, there is. You need to put a shirt on and stop showing your nipples.
EM covers her innocent kid's eyes and I'm in disbelief. Look, there shouldn't be any problems with me not having a shirt on.
Nope, get a shirt on now.
I am shook and got out of the pool. I then get my shirt on.
Why were you naked in the pool?
I just had my shirt off. There should be no problems.
Well, look, I came here to relax and let my daughter swim, not to see some teenage boy flashing himself.
I'm just silent at this point. I can't believe what she is saying. EM then sees security through the glass wall. EM then leaves with IK, and I decide to just sit and wonder what the heck this person was on, or what she was doing. EM led security right to me, and I guess the guard thought he was going to see a naked person running around the pool, but then he saw me and walked over. Sir, have you been swimming in the pool? Naked? No sir, I was just swimming with my shirt off. Guard gives me a look and turns to EM.
He was exposing himself in front of my child, showing his nipples.
The guard gave out a sigh and asked EM to talk to him outside. What I heard next was EM screaming at the guard and that she would be leaving the hotel. Guard comes back in. You can leave now. Best sentence I heard out of this situation. I dried off and headed back to the hotel room. I told my aunt when I got back and she laughed and said she was going to tell my parents that I went out in public naked as some kind of sick joke. I hope I never have to see that B again. When you're on a trip, you just want to chill and relax in your own way. You don't want people bothering you about stupid stuff, especially when you're not doing anything wrong. Some people have really weird rules, and if others don't fit within this very specific border that they've drawn up, well then they'll go at no lengths to berate that person into submission. In particular, they'll target people who are younger than them. And note that they're also alone, so there was no one else there to stand up for him. The biggest mistake she made was bringing in the guard, and assuming that the guard would somehow be as unreasonable as she is. This story was called, I'm pregnant and have a kid. Let me cut in front of you. I'm also pregnant, lady. Ever since I became pregnant, I've become a magnet for entitled parents. I have no idea what it is. Maybe they can just smell the pregnancy hormones and it brings out the essence of entitlement. I have no idea. This happened to me while I was about 3 months along. I was at a grocery store picking up a few things. I was tired, sick from morning sickness, and desperate to find something to eat that I could keep down. So I didn't have many purchases while standing in line waiting to be checked out, and from behind me enters the entitled mother. She had a child but didn't say anything that I remember. I was still waiting to put my purchases on the counter while the other person was checking out. I heard the EM come up from behind me and clear her throat. Excuse me? I turn around and this woman didn't really look like a typical Karen. She actually looked more like those bottle blonde sorority girls with tons of makeup on. She had an adorable little boy in her cart, I'd guess maybe 3 years old, and she was obviously pregnant. I'd guess between 6 to 7 months. Yes, I'm tired and, not gonna lie, was kinda rude when I said it.
I'm very tired and want to get home. Can you just let me in front of you?
This woman literally had a cart full of groceries. I can be kind of a pushover, so if she only had a few things, I probably would have let her. I only have a couple of items. I'll be checked out pretty fast.
Oh, come on. I'm pregnant and very tired. My feet are killing me, and I need to get to my son home.
Well, I'm pregnant and fighting morning sickness. I just want to get my soup and Tylenol, so I can try and eat and sleep. She scoffed and looked at my stomach.
You're not pregnant. Don't give me that bullcrap.
Lady, I don't really care what you think. I turned back to face the cashier as she finally finished scanning the groceries of the guy in front of me. I could literally hear her scoffing and muttering under her breath. I was being checked out. She was still muttering under her breath and tapping her shoes impatiently.
Some people are just so rude.
I really wish I had turned and snapped at her again, but I was tired and sick. I tried to ignore her. EM literally began throwing stuff onto the counter the second there was space, still muttering about wanting to go home and how I was being such a lying bee. The cashier was looking at her and rolling her eyes at the EM. As soon as I was checked out, literally took 5 minutes if that, I took my receipt and looked at the EM. Sorry I took a whole 10 minutes away from you. Have a wonderful day.
Oh, screw you.
No thanks, I'm not into blondes. I was a little happy I made the cashier laugh while I walked away. She yelled something else but I ignored her. I still regret not having a better comeback than what I said though. Okay, it's not the worst thing in the world to ask if you can quickly skip ahead. If maybe you've got like 1 or 2 items and they've got a whole stack of items. You can always ask politely and see if they'll let you. Usually people who have a lot of items feel really awkward holding up the line, and most people offer without anyone even having to ask. However, if it's reversed, and you're the one with a lot of items, there is no situation in which you can ask to be skipping ahead. This story was called Entitled Grandmother Won't Stay in Her Lane. So as background, I am a former competitive swimmer, and currently a competitive swim coach. I usually go to my local YMCA 3 to 4 times a week to stay relatively fit. The pool is typically split into 2 sections down the middle. One section has lap swimming lanes, 3 of them, while the other section is open for kids to swim and for old people to jazzercise. I showed up and it wasn't too busy, just an elderly woman swimming laps, a couple of men floating in the open section, and a woman watching, entitled grandmother, what I assume were her 3 grandkids, playing and jumping back and forth between the remaining open lanes. This is the resulting confrontation EGM had at the Y. Excuse me, can you please have your kids stay in one lane or use the open section so—
No, we were here first and you can't tell us what to do.
But there's a section for—
Didn't you hear me the first time? Leave us alone or I'll have you kicked out.
At this point the aquatics director comes out of his office. What's the problem here?
This man is harassing us and won't leave us alone.
I'm just trying to swim, holding back laughter at this point because I can't believe how quickly she's escalated this. EGM, I've already told you that your kids are only allowed in these lanes if they're getting lessons or there are no lap swimmers available.
But we were here first.
I'm sorry, but it's pool policy, one of the entitled kids.
But we don't want to move. See, you're ruining their day at the pool.
If they want to continue swimming, they need to stay in their designated area. At this point I thought it was over. I had a lane to swim in and I started my workout. About 10 minutes into my swim, a little kid jumps on top of me. Sure enough, it's one of the EKs. EGM waited for the AD to go back into his office and then started throwing all of her kids' toys in my lane. What the heck, lady?
I told you we were here first. AD can't tell me what to do.
What is wrong with you? There's so much space everywhere else in the pool.
Well, we want this spot here.
And now the youngest of the 3 EKs starts crying, drawing out AD again. EGM, I told you to stay in your area.
I don't care, we're not leaving.
Well, I'm going to have to kick you out. And then the real explosion started.
What? How dare you do this to us? My son is a lawyer, and I'm going to have him all over you in no time.
I work at the YMCA, but sure, waste your time going after all my money. EGM starts screaming incoherently for about 5 minutes, and then packs up her grandkids and storms out. I finished my workout and tried to process how the heck this just happened. You can tell with the grandmother, she didn't really care that they were there first. It wasn't really about staying in those lanes. It sounds like there was plenty of room in the pool and the kids could have had just as much fun anywhere else there. Which means her whole intention wasn't just to defend herself, thinking that she had been unfairly treated, but rather she wanted to make everyone else miserable. I think some people get to that later stage of life and they just don't care anymore. They can no longer enjoy life for what it is. They don't have any compassion or consideration for others, and so their whole purpose is built around making life difficult for everyone else. This story was called Your Dead Grandpa Stole My Truck. Some context. My grandpa passed away a few years ago from small cell lung cancer. Although it's been kinda hard making it by financially without him, we've been doing relatively well. My grandpa left us some stuff when he died, but the most important and most treasured belonging of his was his 1983 Dodge Ram pickup truck. I mean, this thing was his baby. He never let anyone else touch it, not even my brother, whom he trusted with everything. Put simply, our financial status left his truck as our only means of transportation. We live in the middle of nowhere, so we couldn't walk to any stores or anything. Okay, sorry to ramble, let's dive into the story. In the story is me, Joker, my nickname, Mum, M, EM entitled Mum, HD Humble Dad, and PO Police Officer. So M and I were shopping for groceries at Walmart. We parked the truck near the front and saw some weird people staring us down as we got out. Unbeknown to us, these people were Humble Dad and Entitled Mum. I didn't think much of it, and M didn't seem to care at all. We locked the truck and went inside. I noticed that EM was following us at a distance. I couldn't tell if it was intentional or coincidental, so I paid no mind to it. We only saw her a few times, but right before we were done, I saw her leave. As we started to head to the checkout, I noticed HD and EM talking to each other outside the doors, giving us occasional glances. At this point I felt like something was up. After we finished purchasing and bagging everything, we headed outside to see HD standing next to the truck, looking in the window with his hands pressed to the glass. EM was standing next to him, looking over his shoulder. We walked over and confronted them. The following conversation ensues. Excuse me, what are you doing to my truck?
Oh, sorry, I was just admiring it. What is it, an 87, 88?
It's an 83. We've had it for quite a while.
Really? We used to have a truck just like this.
That's neat, huh, Joker? At this point, my suspicions are confirmed. Mum, can we get heading out? I'm getting really tired. I actually was pretty dopey due to my meds, so I wasn't lying. Yeah, we do need to be getting home. You guys have a nice day.
Hold on 1 second. Where did you guys get that truck?
It belonged to my grandpa. He passed away a few years ago and left it to us.
Do you know exactly where he bought that truck?
Yeah, he bought it from a dealer in 1982.
I don't think that your grandpa has been telling you the truth. You see, he stole our truck from us.
No, he didn't. My grandpa bought this off the showroom floor. He didn't steal it from you.
That isn't true. We lost our truck a while back and he took it. Now we want it back.
Sorry to disappoint, but you aren't getting crap, lady. I was a little girl when my dad bought this truck. My mum and I even went to the dealer with him. EM then starts screaming like a freaking banshee.
Stop lying! You are going to give back our truck or else I'm calling the police and having you arrested for Grand Theft Auto.
My mum then starts to get in the truck and tells me to get in as well.
Don't even think about leaving with our truck.
She then grabs my mum by the arm and yanks her out of the driver's side. The truck doesn't have separate seats, but rather one large bench type seat. Mum falls to the ground, and then EM takes the keys and starts to get in the truck. I walk up and clock her straight in the jaw, making her drop the keys, which I happily pick up.
That truck belongs to us. We can finally give our son a working vehicle, and I won't let you stop me.
A police officer then pulls into the lot, notices us, and drives over. He gets out of his car. Thank goodness this particular police officer was an awesome guy, and was super chill. What seems to be the issue here?
I just had to pull this lady out of our truck because she tried stealing it from us.
My mum gets up and leans on the bed of the truck, clearly hurt. The officer helps her up. Police officer looks at me. What is your name, bud? My name is Joker. I presume this is your mom, correct? Yeah, that's my mom. We tried to get in our truck when this lady pulls her out of it. I explain the ordeal to the officer, having to talk over EM's screams and remarks. Can you verify that this vehicle truly belongs to you? Yes, I can. She then gets into the truck, pulls out the insurance card and registration. They both have my mum's name on them, which she compares to her driver's license. The names and everything match, of course. Okay, this definitely is your vehicle. EM interrupts the police officer, Tan near throwing a tantrum.
She is a filthy liar. She stole those from me.
She then reaches for my mum, to which the police officer blocks her. She gets mad and slap right into the police officer's face. The officer is officially done at this point. She gets tackled to the ground and handcuffed, all the while kicking and squirming. Ma'am, you already assaulted both a civilian and an officer. You clearly attempted to steal their vehicle from them, and now you're resisting arrest? You aren't getting out of this one. The officer puts her in the back of his squad car. The EM turns absolutely demonic at this point, yelling profanities and acting literally insane. Luckily, she was weak and couldn't do any real harm. The officer apologized for the trouble, shook my hand, gave me a pat on the back bro hug. Again, super cool. He left, leaving the HD by himself. I'm really sorry that you had to go through that, and not helping calm the situation. I didn't want to seem like a bad guy being with her. Plus, it would have made it worse if I went against her. We left on good terms. The story had a happy ending. Needless to say, we pressed charges against her for assault and attempted theft. She is now in jail for a while. You can understand if your car was stolen, that you'd be on edge, and every time you saw the same car as yours out on the road, you wouldn't be able to help but wonder if that was it. What I don't understand is how this lady acts as if it's the only car in the world. I suppose because it was an older model, maybe you don't see as many of them around, but to literally assault somebody and then attempt to steal their car just because you believe it might be the one that was stolen from you. Clearly a risk assessment was not done on the situation before she acted. I don't know why the husband as well didn't step in and try and calm her down. Maybe he's just like, you know what? I want to see how this plays out, and starts getting too far. Well, I can't stop it now, it's just getting good. You can't help but think that later he was like, yeah, I probably could have done something to stop that there. Oh well. If you'd like your story to be narrated by me, don't forget to visit the subreddit r/VoiceyHere, link below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Alright, I'll see you in the next one.